Now, first things first, thanks to Venkatesh sir for the opportunity, because I've known him for a long time, and it's very nice of him to give me this opportunity to talk to the residents. So this talk is called as Teach to Reach Success. Okay, this is not an exam topic, so you guys can just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we'll start with this. Imagine success. Okay, for most of us, what success means, each of us have different meanings to success. For some, success means earning money. For some, success means doing good surgeries, good patients. So if you're going to take success as going to be, let's say success is etched on the top of a mountain, and if success means standing out or making a mark, there are multiple roads to attain that success. Could be surgeries, could be publications or research, could be innovations. Some people are very good entrepreneurs. So we have different types of people have their own ways or own paths to reach out to success. But let me just share with you guys about one path which is not much has been talked about, probably very unexplored path, and that is teaching. In other words, how teaching the world can enable you to reach success. So we'll start with this. Now this is a very interesting picture. Before we start any discussion for that matter, it is always vital to answer three questions: why, how, and what. And amongst these three questions, the most important question to answer is, why do we have to teach in the first place? Because most of the, all the instructors, they all know what to teach. They all know, it's very obvious for them, what the topic to teach. But very few of them will know the actual technique of teaching, the process or the how to teach. And even amongst them, the rarest species are those who really understand the purpose or the why behind do we teach. The purpose or the need for teaching. So let's start with that, the purpose or the why. I'll give you three important reasons why you guys have to teach, be it online or offline, why teaching is an essential part of a resident's career. First and foremost reason is to carve a niche for yourself. Now I can see around 20 plus doctors who have joined this session. So if you're listening to this, either because you are told to listen or because you are interested to know what this topic is all about. So this topic means when someone says teach to reach success, it's kind of intriguing. It kind of talks about something about success, and success grabs attention. And if you want to achieve success, which means that you are at the right time to see this, carving a niche or identity. Because for all of us, what is the most important thing as an ophthalmologist? I have to have a name for myself. That is the prime basic instinct for all of us. Let me share you my story. I never liked ophthalmology. Still, I have trouble in accepting ophthalmology to the fullest extent. It's like an arranged marriage for me. My primary passion was teaching. Never I really liked about ophthalmology. I had psychiatry at ophthalmology, so I had to choose ophthalmology, obviously. But my passion was to teach. But my profession became ophthalmology. So what I had to do, I had to integrate my passion into my profession or convert a negative into a positive by teaching ophthalmology. So this is what I've been doing. When I joined as a resident, I started this YouTube channel. I just started to upload few videos which were primarily focused for the PG aspirants. And slowly I shifted the focus from PG aspirants to the PGs or the residents. So this is the channel. I think some of you might have seen this channel. This is called King's Crux. That is my channel's name. And if you can type Pranesh Balasubramaniam on YouTube, you can access this channel. Now, whenever I upload the videos on YouTube, what I do is I add a link to it on Facebook as well. And not just that, Facebook also enables me to upload written content. So I just started to upload these very simple handwritten notes on iPad. So I just took Kansky and I started to refer Kansky, put pictures and try to make some small notes. Slowly what I did was, whenever I took a class, for example, I took a class on BRAO. Whenever I take a class, an online lecture, I try to create a short article which will run for about like 10 to 15 pages, and I will post it online. So in this article BRAO, you can see there is a QR code. So students can scan this QR code with the help of their phones to access the video as well. So one thing led on to the other, and slowly I started to pile up a compilation of notes, and I self-published a book or a manual on clinical embryology of the eye. Now, this book is available for free. You can access the King's Crux on Facebook. You can find the link for this. But what I mean is, I have tried to use social media to my advantage. That is the crux. That is what the essence is. Now, if someone asks me what am I, I'm just going to tell this is my work. This is what I've been doing. So this is like a virtual business card, or it's like a mini resume if you could consider. So publishing what you like or publishing your passion on social media is the key statement I want to make it here. So far I've talked about why you should teach. The first reason is you want to carve a niche for yourself. You want to create an identity. That is kind of a philosophical thing because, not many will be like, oh, I should make a mark. Some are like casual, cool and chill. For them, for those residents especially, teaching is the best way to learn. You all know that. We have all done that during our UG days. Whatever we have taught, whatever symposia we have taken, they have stayed with us. The concepts have stayed with us till this date. Because when we want to teach someone, we learn more. We have to refer multiple textbooks. And when we teach someone, whatever we have learned gets consolidated. The learning becomes more efficient and more effective. This is what this guy told. He's Dr. Richard Feynman. Anybody know who this guy is? Can anyone tell me? I hope you guys are listening. Anybody knows? Okay. He is a very famous theoretical physicist. He's a Nobel laureate. He's very famous because he's a very eccentric person. He was a playboy in his times and he plays bongos. I think people who watch this will know who he is. Okay, I can't see the chat, but you know who he is. He's Sheldon and he plays bongos. This is a reference with this guy. Dr. Richard Feynman, what he will do is, he will ask his physics fellows to go and teach complex physics concepts to kindergarten kids. So it's kind of a very difficult and different process. To teach physics to kids is not an easy job. So all these physicists, all these students, they have to literally wrap their brains. They have to go there and they really have to try to explain those concepts to the kids. But interestingly, in that process, what happened was they learned physics better. That is, instead of going to the top, you go to the base. You try to understand, you try to simplify the complex parts of it. This is what we call as the Feynmans Technique. Feynmans Technique is one of the most approved, most studied techniques to learn better. That is by teaching a simpleton or teaching people who have no idea what the subject is all about. So how do I employ Feynman's technique in my learning is, I teach these people. So whenever I get a chance, I try to make sure that I teach the MLOP sisters of my hospital. I know for those who belong to other states, you might find it difficult because of language barriers. But fortunately, I'm Tamil, so I'm able to connect with them in a better way. So what I do was, whenever I took classes for them, I think I've taken almost 30 anatomy classes. Usually they'll prefer Tamil doctors to take classes for sisters. So I used it to my advantage. What I did was, I started to make notes for them. These are written handouts for them, lecture handouts you can call. And slowly what I thought was, now I'm targeting these people. They are nothing but people who have just finished their 10th and 12th standard. So they have a very limited technical knowledge. They are just like a layman. So what I did, I slowly started compiling notes, started to develop these short handouts or eye health education handouts, translates Tamil as Kannala Kalvi Murai Kaiyedigal. So these are these short handouts which I send to people, which I shared with my patients as well, which has very simple, easy to understand, illustrated health education material. So I've made like 5 to 6 of them. This is one on glaucoma and computer vision syndrome. And this is the picture, this is on glaucoma, where I made some illustrations with pictures. And this is on computer vision syndrome. So the idea is very simple. Whatever you're doing, you're just trying to extend it, extrapolate it to another category, to another audience. So it's like a win-win. Because when I teach these sisters, I learn the concepts better by Feynman's technique. And not just that, it enables me to communicate with my patients in a better way. As we all know, Aravind is a high volume center, and it's very difficult to, to always talk to patients. Most of the times our eyes are glued to the computer screens or to the case sheets. The counseling sisters will take up this chance of taking them and explaining to them the procedures. But once you move out of Aravind, you will realize the importance of communicating with patients. And I always believe that when you communicate, when you teach sisters, that really translates well to the patients as well. So that is a win-win situation we are having here. The third, probably the most important reason why you should teach is we can create a better future. I know it sounds very, very futuristic and very philosophical, but that is the thing. Because the world needs more teachers. In fact, we all have felt that, especially during our PG entrance days. We have felt the need for quality teaching. We have seen very good teachers. We have seen very mediocre teachers. But there is a need for a strong training at every part of our life, and especially when it comes to ophthalm, we really require it even more. So, if each one of us could teach one, if not many, we can create a better world to live. Because I feel the world needs more teachers to put positivity in place. So I've given you 3 reasons why for 3 types of doctors. I think there are 3 types of doctors or young ophthalmologists out there. The ambitious ones. You can have a strong online presence by teaching online. You can have an identity. For the academic ones like me, you can learn better. You will master the concepts more than anyone else. And last, the rarer species, the altruistic or the service-minded ones, you can make the world a better place to live. I hope I have convinced you guys on why you should teach, the importance of teaching. I know it sounds very, not all could relate to it because my passion was teaching, so I cannot really enforce my passion into you. But if surgery is your passion, teach surgeries. If cooking is your passion, teach cooking. So all I mean is, by teaching the world, you will be benefited and the world will be benefited. So far I've covered the why part of it, or why should we actually teach the world. Now let's move on to the actual practical relevance on how to teach, or the process behind teaching. So I'm going to share a few of my techniques, what I follow whenever I take a class online or offline. So you can apply these techniques on your learning as well. It will benefit in your learning. Also, it will benefit in your teaching if at all you're going to take up that in the future. 3 levels of learning. See, whenever I take a class, whenever I create a lecture, be it in the process of creation or during delivery of the lecture, I follow this framework called level 1 to 2 to 3. First, always talk on level 1. First, always deal with the fundamental concepts. Sounds obvious, sounds very obvious. We all know that. Learn fundamentals first. We have been told that right from day 1 of our kindergarten or school. But yet we forget it. Somewhere down the line, we doctors, we think we know everything and we forget the basics. So focus on the concepts. So whenever I take classes, I spend the first big chunk of time on focusing on the fundamentals. It's like the golden period during MI. You don't revive the patient in this golden period, you will lose the patient. So when you don't capture the audience attention within the first few minutes, you will lose the audience interest as well. So only after the students have mastered the level 1, which is concepts, then I take them to level 2 or the body or the core of the topic. And then the final initial time. Only then I explain on the advanced concepts, research questions and trivia. Because the first few minutes are very vital, we all have a very short attention span of time. And that is why even for this lecture, what I'm taking right now, I've kept the most important question, why, as the first. The how, the what, the next. Okay? It's like having a Falooda. I call this the Falooda Principle. So let the students enjoy the concepts first. Let them relish that first, and then the body, and then the advanced. The more relatable diagram, or more relatable picture in these days is this. So this is the coffee what we all have, the Dalgona coffee. So study in layers, teach in layers. Always put fundamentals first, whether you are a learner or a teacher. Okay, now that is with the first technique I shared, that is the 3 levels of teaching. Another 3 is the 3 elements of oratory. Before even I started teaching, my passion was oratory or public speaking. So I have read like multiple books on oratory. I always wanted to be that way. But unfortunately, medicine came and then came ophthalm. So life takes its own turn. But one good thing is I always try to infuse the principles of oratory into medicine or into ophthalmology teaching. There are three essential elements of public speaking. This was given by Aristotle centuries back: ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethos means credibility. For example, if Venkatesh sir has to take glaucoma, he's an authority on glaucoma surgery. So that is the credibility he possesses. Ethos. Logos means logical arguments people put forward. As medical instructors, even as students for that matter, our primary focus will always be towards ethos and logos. But very often, very rarely do we focus on pathos. Pathos means emotional quotient of the audience. By telling vividly engaging stories, you can capture the audience attention. That is what pathos means. So tell stories to hook the audience. Let me give you an example. In one of my lectures on amblyopia, I always talk on this. This is a love triangle called lazy love. So we have these two men trying to woo or impress this girl, this pink girl on top. But one of these guys is failing. You know why? Let's say the impression part means giving a chocolate to the girl. So this guy, first of all, he is giving chocolate not to this girl but to someone else. What is that called as? That is called as strabismic amblyopia. This guy is giving a smaller chocolate, whereas the other is giving a larger chocolate. Anisometric amblyopia. Worst case scenario, he is not giving a chocolate at all. That is deprivational amblyopia. So this is a very interesting way to tell a story, to explain a pathophysiology, to explain a clinical concept. Now, I'm pretty sure whoever listened to my my lecture on amblyopia, they still remember, they still come to me and tell, sir, I just remember you taking this love triangle for amblyopia. So they don't forget the types. And you can always expand this. It again shows that this girl is the main thing. So it's all about the eyes sending the signals to the brain. So again, it kind of elaborates the pathophysiology of amblyopia within this acute love story. So tell stories to engage the audience. This will be of interest for the teachers, especially because the traditional lectures I've attended, you guys all are still attending this. What we do is we have a lecturer who will give you a class. You'll be scheduled for a class. You will come and listen to the lecture or a case discussion. Then you are okay, I've learned something. Then you go home. You either learn or not. We're not sure about that. Most of us don't learn the same day. Maybe Aravind PGs might do that. But eventually you forget. That is a traditional lecture, traditional classroom. Here we flip the classroom, which means that whatever learning happens, it happens before the lecture begins, before even the class starts. So what we'll do is we'll give all the required materials, the necessary articles, lecture videos, either I create or someone else has done. We'll give everything to my residents. They will take some time to prepare for that and come. And in the classroom, it is all about application. It is all about applying the learned principles. So there is no teaching, just application. And after the class, they go back to homes or their hostels, they re-evaluate, they learn themselves. So, for example, when I took a class for glaucoma optic nerve changes, what I did was, I had one of my lectures taken previously, fortunately. So I just gave this lecture, I gave the references, some articles to my students, to my residents. So they spent time to learn, and in the class, I just asked them questions, show them diagrams on what is this optic disc, what is CDR ratio. So just elaborating on that. So in that way, they apply, they learn more effectively. In other words, here we flip the triangle. We have seen two triangles. We have seen the three elements of oratory. We saw the three levels of learning. But here we flip the triangle. Before the class, the students remember and understand. During the class, they apply and they analyze. And after the class, they evaluate and they create. This yellow triangle creation is the epitome of learning. After a class, after a flipped class, I'm able to evaluate myself better. I'm able to find a lacuna in a concept. I'm able to pursue a research question. I'm able to innovate something. This research and innovation, they are the ultimate experience for a learner, and that is the ultimate goal for any teacher, creation. So far I think I've dealt with two questions. One is going to be, why should we teach? The second is how to teach. I think so far I've been clear in whatever I have told. I hope so. The third will be what to teach, or what are the outcomes Or what should we actually teach? It's very obvious. We teach we can't teach something else, but simply put, always teach your passion. Teach what you love. It could be surgeries, it could be innovations, it could be public research, it could be anything. Teach your passion. I'll show you some examples of ophthalmologists who have really excelled in the art of teaching. One is Dr. Pradeep Mohanta. I think most of you might have seen his videos. He's a legendary figure as far as Indian ophthalmology is concerned, and many youngsters have benefited from his surgical videos. Dr. Uday Devgan, he runs Cataract Coach. He produces beautifully explained phacoemulsification videos. And this guy is a very interesting person. He is Dr. Ricardo. He uses Instagram to explain retinal pathologies in a very interesting way. If you have not watched his videos, please go to Instagram. I think most of the girls will be there. You can go to Instagram and you can type in retinography and you can find his videos. Very brilliantly shot artistic videos. You should watch. And you all know this person. He is the alumni of Aravind Pondi. He is Dr. Sabyasachi Sengupta. He runs an online portal dedicated for research and methodology. He caters not just to ophthalmologists, he caters to other specialties as well. Now that was his passion. His publications and research was his passion, and he has capitalized on his passion. He has cashed in on his passion, and thereby he really has created a mark. So all these people, they have done three things. They have carved a niche for themselves, and they have mastered their craft better than anybody else by teaching. And third, they have created a better world for students like us to learn and excel. This is my latest thing I'm doing. It's called Stalins Teach, because maturity is when you understand that there are people better than you in so many spheres of life, at least in ophthalmology. I realize that there are so many talents out there who deserve a chance to speak up, either because they don't come out or either because people are not calling them out. For some reason or the other, they are being kind of submerged there. So I thought, why can't they use my channel as a platform to come and they can share their expertise, they can share their learnings to the world, so that in that process, I learn from them, the audience learns from them, and most importantly, they get a spotlight. So this is called as Stalins Teach. So what I did to kick things off, I invited two of Aravind DNB PGs. DNB PG is Dr. Sanira. She finished her DNB Opthal from Aravind Tirunelveli. She gave a talk on how to prepare for DNB exams. Then for people of my kind, MS and DO, I invited a gold medalist, Dr. Harini, who got gold medal in DO, and she gave her views on how to prepare for MS and DO exams. As I was mentioning, taking one step further. So what I did was I collaborated with Sanira. I came up with a very short guide, crisp guide for how to teach or how to learn, how to approach DNB ophthalmology exams. And Harini went on to give an interview to eOphtha on how to prepare for exams. So I think that is what you really want. When someone comes and talks on your channel, they get a recognition, they go the step further, they go a step higher, and that really makes you proud. That really makes you feel good about what you have done. So I know who this girl is. You guys should know who she is, and she is Dr. Subhashini, and she is the recent guest of my Stalins Teach, and she has collaborated with me, and she's talking on apps in ophthalmology. I should be uploading this video lecture maybe by tomorrow, I think so. And again, I've taken one step further. So it's not just about the video. It's the best experience you can give to an audience is when they can carry something after the video, something materialistic, something which they have for future reference. Nobody has time to browse through the entire full length of the video. So watch a video, and then I want to create a book for them. So what I did was I just try to create a book for them called Online Resources in Ophthalmology. Subhash and myself are working on this, so this also should be probably released by tomorrow or by Monday max. So one of the objectives of this lecture, whatever I'm taking right now, was Online Resources in Ophthalmology demonstrated. That was the fifth or fourth objective of this. So this is what the important thing is. In any lecture what you give, the most important question to answer is, what's in it for the audience? If I'm talking something, the audience should benefit in some way or the other. That is the ultimate goal of any lecture for that matter. So what's in it for you guys who are listening? I think this is what will be the most fruitful resource. You can have everything. You have all the applications here, hand-picked, self-tested, Telegram links to access books, YouTube channels which you might not have seen before, Facebook pages and Ophthalmology websites, links to access question banks. We have everything in this. So I'm trying to create a very comprehensive thing for you guys. So once I upload the video, I'll try to publish this book as well and try to share with you guys. So what have you learned till now? I think it's been around half an hour, I think, right? We started at 2:30, now it's 3 o'clock. So far you might have made some judgments about me. So one thing will be, okay, this guy is promoting his channel, shameless promotion. That would be one of the judgments you can make. But the positive side will be, yes, you might have learned some techniques, some tips and tricks to actually make use of in your learning career as well as in your teaching career in the future. But if I want to give one important thing, that is Ikigai. I'm not sure how many of you know what Ikigai is. It's a very important DNB question. Anybody knows what Ikigai is? Okay. No, I'm kidding. It's not a DNB question. It's a philosophy from Japan. Yeah, okay. I got some chat. Book. Okay, great. Yeah, it's a book. What the book is on? It's a Japanese book. Okay, what is the Japanese book is on?
You can unmute and chat. PGs.
Yeah, you can.
Feel free. Isha.
It's a book. Very good. It's a Japanese book. Very, very good. What is the next thing? What is the book on?
It's the way of thinking.
Great.
Philosophy.
Okay. Okay. Ikigai means it's a Japanese philosophy for a happy life or a balanced life. Here it roughly translates to your passion or the purpose of your life. What is the one thing that will keep on going? What is the one thing that really fires you up? What is the one thing that keeps you alive? That is Ikigai. If you can pursue, if you can achieve that one thing, you have attained happiness in your lives. Have you read the book, The One Thing? Anybody? The One Thing. You should read that book. The One Thing by Gary Keller. That book also has the same philosophy, to try to find what is the one thing. If I could do that one thing, the rest of my life is accomplished. Everything I have achieved. So Ikigai is something where it's an intersection of these 4 things. What you love. What is your passion? The second is what you're good at. Passion is not just enough. Are you skilled enough to do that? Okay. The third is what the world really needs. Whatever you love, whatever you're skilled, does it benefit the world or people out there? The fourth is, most important is, are you being paid for it? So I asked myself, what is my Ikigai? And my Ikigai will be to teach. Something what I love the most. It's something I think I'm good at. I'm not sure, but I think I'm good at it. The third is, yes, the world needs it very, very badly. We need more teachers. I think only poor students can understand the importance of teaching. I'm one of them. And fourth is what you can be paid for. I'm not sure whether Aravind pays me for teaching, but at least YouTube gives me some incentives to run the channel and to teach. So teaching is my Ikigai. Okay? If you can go back to your rooms and if you can ask yourself, what is my Ikigai? What is my purpose of living? And that's a very philosophical question to ponder and to think. You might have to spend the entire evening, but it's worth it. For some, surgeries could be Ikigai, or you might have loved surgeries, but you might not be good at surgeries. But you always have a chance to prove yourself. There is always a chance to transition yourself from an average surgeon to an excellent surgeon. All have gone through that phase. So, if surgery is Ikigai, pursue it. Find your Ikigai. Find your passion. That should be the message of this entire thing, because it's not just about me talking about what I love, but you can always derive some messages in this journey, this story of whatever I've been telling you all these time. So what is the crux, or what is the message I want to give? We might have seen all these triangles till now. We have answered 3 important questions. The most important question being, why should we teach? And these are the 3 elements of oratory: pathos, ethos, and logos. Where pathos is the most important element, engaging the audience with stories. We have seen 3 levels of learning: concepts, body, and advanced. Take the students or you yourself when you learn concepts first, then the core principles, and then the advanced trivia, research, whatever advanced thing you have. And finally, we flip the triangle. We try to take classes in a flipped way where We learn the most before the class. During the class, you apply and you only analyze, and after class, you evaluate and you create. So you have seen these triangles. I think there is one more triangle. It's a bigger one, and it shows that by teaching the word, you can step up this ladder. You can escalate your careers to excellence. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let us all teach to reach. So that ends with my presentation. It's half an hour, right? So if you've got any questions, you want to know more about it, feel free.
Thank you, Pranesh.
Thank you, sir.
PJs, if you have any questions, you can directly ask now. Unmute and ask.
Okay, just one feedback. Was it useful for you guys in some way or the other? If someone could give me a reply on chat, I'd be happy. Yeah, there's one thing. Very useful. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's what I intended to, because it's not just about someone coming and sharing. I've always seen these big surgeons who come and share their surgeries with us. They give some very complicated techniques to us, but really, we won't understand anything because it will not be relevant for us. So relevance is the key. So whatever I have told you till now should be useful for the residents or whoever is watching. So I have a question here: how to make a presentation more interesting? Good. So Dr. Dayakar is asking how to make a presentation more interesting. From this talk, we can derive the same principles. Always tell stories, because unfortunately, whenever you present a paper, whenever you present a class, most often we fall into this usual thing of going along the same way, talking technical jargon and making people sleep. When you tell stories, then you emotionally engage audience, and that's where the secret lies, because we have all been storytellers. Our mothers might have told us stories, and stories will captivate, and that's the reason why movies are a hit. That's why when you infuse a message into a movie, we get to, we're very much happy to watch that movie, no matter how the message is boring or might be very, very didactic or very philosophical, still we enjoy. So telling stories is one thing. And if you want to know one thing on teaching or to make a presentation more interesting, try to go to the level of the audience. That is one thing which many people don't do. Unfortunately, when a senior consultant comes and takes a class, he might please or he might be relatable to the final years, but not the first years. But I think it is important for an instructor to focus on all the strata of learners, right, from beginners to the experienced. So whenever we give a presentation or a lecture, always make sure that you are relatable to the audience. How to make students to motivate to study them, or some of them will be sleeping during the class. Okay, right. Now motivating as in the sense, yes, do you really want me to motivate them to learn more? Seen orbit concept. Okay, great. Okay, sir. Sir, to motivate the students is not an easy thing, because first of all, we have to see there is no point in enforcing something on them. It's very much relatable, because I've been through, you might have been through this. Always what's in it for them. If they feel whatever assignment you are giving is important to them, then they will follow that. So that is the key there. So making sure or convincing them that whatever you're doing is for their benefit. That is how we motivate. Some of them will be sleeping during the class. I want to make a very bold statement. If a student is sleeping in the class, if a student is fiddling with his phone in the class, it is not the mistake, it is not the error of the student. He is not to be blamed. The blame is on the teacher. I might be controversial when I say this, but I am for the students, because a good teacher should be able to captivate the audience or students. When he fails to do that, obviously people will go to sleep. Obviously, we will try to fidget with the phones. So most important thing is this: captivate the audience attention. It is in our capacity, it is our talent to make sure that these students listen to us. I think that is the most important thing. And for that, yes, we have resources for teachers to really make things more interesting. And following the techniques, whatever I've given to you, might be useful, I believe. Thank you, Fatima. Hope the lectures were useful. Glad to hear that. I used to catch hold of my juniors to teach, yes, but had lost interest in the past 1 year or 2 years, but feel like teaching. Great, great, great. See, because why do you lose interest is somewhere down the line, we become important for ourselves. I used to take classes for sisters when I was in my first year. Second year I did, but now third year I couldn't do much. No, I'm not doing. I'm focusing on my online teaching and teaching my residents. But sometimes I feel, yes, I have to go back and start taking classes for sisters and for the juniors as well, because that's where the challenge lies. Challenge lies in taking classes for them. That kind of really stirs your creativity to a very great extent. Thank you so much. I hope any other questions pertaining to... Yeah, I just want an invitation. Okay. Now, the Stalins Teach is something which I've been doing. I think really it has lots of scope. I can see lots of talents out there. And if you feel that you can contribute something to the world, if you really have this thing, okay, I really have the passion to share my knowledge with the world, then you're always welcome. You can really ping me, you can text me, you can contact me, and you can really express interest. We'll take things forward, like how I've been doing with Subhashni and Sanira and Harini. So I'm collaborating with Aravind research scientists as well to give more clarity for the research for all those scientific things like genetics, stem cells, which we have no clue at all. So I'm trying to bring more clarity into it. So let's see how things are going. So if any one of you are interested in really want to share your ideas, you're always welcome. Let's collaborate and win together. Any more questions?
Yeah, Dr. Pranash, can you explain a little bit about the other online resources which are available? Can you show them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, when I started this online classes 3 years back, very few resources were there, not much at all. But now there is a plethora of information. In fact, too much that we don't know what to choose, what to leave. That is the status right now. Especially during this COVID period, there is a huge webinar pandemic actually happening there. So it's really important to pick and choose what you really want. There is no scarcity for resources. There are multiple resources out there. But you should know that, and you should know whether you should watch, whether you should invest your time in teaching them, in learning them. If I were to give one important online resource, that would be CyberSite. How many of you have seen the CyberSite? Oh, CyberSite. CyberSite is a venture by Orbis, and it focuses on ophthalmology education. Their primary priority is pediatric ophthalmology. Let me just show you. This is CyberSite. Okay, so here you have lots of resources. You have live webinars, you have online courses, but you have to register for this site. And once you have registered, you can always access them. There are multiple courses or modules. For example, let me just show this. You have online courses where you can have these. Okay, this is one interesting website. And recently, one of my friends from North, they started this wonderful website called iLearn. This is another useful resource for residents so that they can, it has a big compilation of notes, question banks, advice on how to study. So iLearn is one thing which you can try. The third will be eOphtha. eOphtha is a legendary website. It's always, and they're coming up with new content as well for you guys. So this is another interesting thing. If there is one important application that you want to download on your phones, it's very obvious, but it should be Telegram. I hope all of you have Telegram on your phones, and all of you have links to the multiple channels which give you a plethora of books. So the online resource in ophthalmology, the book what I'm trying to get out maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow might reach you soon, and you can always go to the Telegram links, click on that, you can join the channel if you want, and I'll try to give more resources for them. Any more questions you have, or you want to clarify anything? Yes, sir?
I think that's it to the questions. Thank you, Pranesh, for enlightening us about the importance of teaching. Our professor used to tell, if you're not going to teach your students, you might not have really exceptional doctors treating your children.
Correct.
So that's a very important thing. You'll have to teach not only your peers, your fellow students as well. So thank you, Pranesh. If they have any doubts, let them contact you directly.
Yes, anytime. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.